Thursday, August 21st, 2025. It's called the Wilton Board of Education regular meeting to order. Has everyone had a chance to review the agenda?
Yes.
Are there any questions or comments on the agenda? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Thank you, Pat. Is there a second? Thank you, Lori. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Comments from the public. The board has set aside time at the beginning and end of regular meetings for public comments for members of the public to share their views on matters involving the Wilton Public Schools and to help inform the board's decisions on such matters. 2 minutes will be allotted to each speaker and a maximum of 15 minutes to any one subject. For the record, please also give your name and address. The board considers the views of citizens in its deliberations and welcomes and appreciates public comment. The board listens to public comment thoughtfully and with interest. The board, however, generally does not respond to public comment during board meetings by offering commentary or answering questions. The board also invites commentators and the public to contact the board or the superintendent directly with any specific questions or comments. The board, through the chair and the superintendent, may respond to questions and comments offered during public comment or shared directly. And in responding, may also direct members of the public to appropriate staff members for a response. Are there any comments from the public? None in the room and none online. Thank you. Consent agenda. Has everyone had a chance to review the consent agenda? Hammerstone market donation. Thank you, Hammerstone. There was a completely generous donation. Hammerstone Markets donated $124,200 for the 25-26 school year. The contribution ensures that every student enrolled in our personal finance courses will have access to Hammerstone Markets software. The software will provide them with hands-on experience and a deeper understanding of financial concepts, preparing them for future success. So, thank you. And then the personnel changes. Are there any questions or comments on the consent agenda? Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Thank you, Heather. Is there a second? Thank you, Pam. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Board Chair report. Hello all and welcome back. I have just a few quick remarks before we jump into business. On Monday, Lori and Kevin and the district welcomed new teachers. We will hear more from Maria later about the tremendous talent joining us this year. I just want to extend the board's welcome and thanks, and we look forward to seeing all the ways you will contribute to the Wilton education community. Over the summer, our custodian staff worked wonders. Middlebrook looks like a whole new school, and our schools have been scrubbed from top to bottom. Thank you for creating spaces worthy of the people who spend their time in them. Today began with convocation, a wellness fair with an alarm interruption. Well, because, that's life. And also the musical talents of Stephen Kellogg in a reprised performance that included our very own Wilton High School madrigals. It was truly special. This morning I remarked that it's fitting that we started this year with our staff and our wellness fair in a building dedicated for striving for excellence. Here in Wilton, through our actions, we are showing our kids and the larger world the power and the beauty of academic excellence and well-being, mattering and healthy striving. Each child that walks through our doors is surrounded by a community of support, and it's that support that enables true learning and confidence to explore and find their own paths, to make their own success. As we enter a new school year, I look forward to seeing all that we can achieve and as we continue to embrace the beauty and the power of together growing the next generation of critical thinkers and truth seekers and democracy sustainers through our commitment to the understanding that people can be more than one thing and can hold more than one belief. Thank you, teachers, staff, parents, students, and the larger community for your continued support and partnership. Here's to another great year of Wilton education. Dr. Smith.
I don't want to follow that.
Now you know how I usually
Very well
feel.
said, yes. This feels familiar. So someone did say summer happened, and I heard some tell that it did, but here we are, we're back again. There's some new faces at the table that I want to welcome, and so Melissa Barrett, our new Assistant Superintendent for our Special Services. Welcome.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
We look forward to hearing a lot from you in the future.
Ready.
We also want to welcome Janine Carley, our new principal at Cider Middle School. So Janine, not a new face to us, but a new role. Thank you. We want to congratulate Maria Coleman on her promotion to Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources and my favorite, General Administration and whatever else the superintendent needs.
Yeah.
So thank you. We'll talk a little bit more about Lila later on in the agenda. Lila's not new to this table, but congratulations on your appointment to your new role as CFO for the Wilton Public Schools. And so thank you for serving. Bill also not new, but Bill is now, we're going to take every ounce of his life. So Bill is full time with us, so welcome full time. The agenda is our kind of annual back to school agenda, and so you'll hear some updates tonight from a range of folks, and that'll continue for the next couple of meetings. But what I want to tell you and share with the community, echoing what Ruth just said, our staff, our summer staff, our custodians, cadre of HVAC workers and painters and floor workers have been working morning, noon, and night to take apart and put back together in a much more attractive fashion the Peterson wing over at Middlebrook. And we've had work going on all over the district, and so we're ready. We were mostly ready to welcome staff back. There's a little dust on the floor here and there from the newly hung sheetrock, but people took it in stride. We'll be fully ready to welcome kids back when the new buses roll up Lily Way here on Monday morning. And so, with that being said, why don't we jump into the rest of the agenda items?
Sounds good. Welcome, Maria, and hiring update.
Thank you. Well, in keeping with tradition, I have my hiring update, and I'm so pleased to give you an overview of the fall class of 2025. As usual, it's been a very busy hiring season, and I think I gave you a preview of this in the spring. We hired 33 new certified staff, 6 administrators, 5 of which reflect internal promotions, which is certainly something to celebrate, 19 non-certified staff, and 6 custodians. In addition, we've hired 3 long-term substitutes. To give you an overview of the unfilled positions, we have 3 teaching positions, all of which reflect late resignations, as recently as last week, in fact. And that was a part-time role, and we find that sometimes teachers are looking for full-time roles. So we do have the .5 secondary music position, the high school chemistry position, and an elementary psychologist position. And we have a substitute in place. It's a retired psychologist who's on board to work at least half the year, so we certainly have a plan for the interim for that. We are actively interviewing for the high school chemistry position, and we have our .5 music teacher for the 30 days that we are able to keep her contractually. So we have a plan in place for all of those. In addition, we have 2 paraprofessional positions at Middlebrook that are open, and we have 3 more long-term substitute positions that are going to be open in the next month or 2. So those are all in process. Now, the most exciting part, when I get to actually give you an overview of our new teachers. As usual, we have drawn a very competitive pool of applicants. We had over 550 applicants for our positions, and the candidates that we hired reflect the top 6% of the applicant pool. They range from being in their first year teaching to their 25th year teaching. They attended institutions like UConn, Syracuse, and the University of Paris, La Sorbonne. They are honors program, Dean's List, and summa cum laude graduates. For many, it's a second or third career that brings them here to the field of education. They have experience in business, accounting, fashion design, culinary arts, and we even have a former captain of the U.S. Army.
Who's that?
That's Evan Fawnin, social studies teacher at the high school. So very exciting. And then they just have really interesting talents. We're always so intrigued to learn about the things that maybe aren't on a resume, and we try to get at those questions in the interviews. So our new art teacher from the high school is a wood carver, among other things. And she has a beautiful horse that she carved over about 8 or 9 months that is featured in the New England Carousel Museum. It's absolutely stunning. We got to see her portfolio, and one page after the other of her students' work was incredible, and then it also included her work as an artist. We have figure skaters in our group, yogis, lacrosse players, cyclists, pizza enthusiasts. I would like to share that. And they are also people who have been celebrated and recognized over the course of their career. We have a multi-year Excellence in Education Award winner, distinguished military graduate, a teacher who earned the award of Rookie of the Year at her previous school. And they also are active in different forms of community service with organizations like Filling in the Blanks, Night to Shine, the PTA. One of our teachers is a former search and rescue volunteer at the Grand Canyon, and also has taught ESL in Peru. And the last two are the same person, which I just think is so interesting. And so we're very excited to bring on this group. And they're well into it. What is this, their 4th day now? Feels like they've been here. I'm sure they feel like they've gotten enough information that it feels like they've been here for a long time. But we're very proud of our fall class of 2025 and really looking forward to helping them become a part of the fabric of our school community.
You see, we've got Gina Dignam back as well.
Yes, that's right. That's right. We brought back actually 2 colleagues who left us Gina left us for a period of about 8 years, and one colleague left us just for 1 year, and now she's back. So
It's really great. Is that 550 applicants, is that on average, given the number of open positions, did you find that was a larger pool or same?
it really depends on the position.
Okay.
We had a lot of applicants for our elementary positions, but I will also say we drew from the same pool in certain instances, so we didn't necessarily repost every single position.
Okay.
But our shortage areas positions are, consistently lower. Like the school psychologist position is not drawing a lot of applicants.
Yeah.
The science positions, things like that. So it really depends.
Any questions for Maria? Well, thank you all
Thanks for all
and
your
your
work.
team
Yeah.
for a job
and
well done.
That's right. I
You were
have to
very busy.
acknowledge Erica Cross and Tracy DeAngelis, who have just been working nonstop because they're there really for every phase in the hiring process. And they're still working with new staff just to make sure that they're fully onboarded and they have all of the resources that they need. So
No, it's fantastic.
thank you.
Principals updates.
Great.
What do you want?
We're going to start with Mrs. Cohn.
Okay.
Go! Happy New Year, everybody. So welcome back to the 25-26 school year. Yesterday we welcomed the kids and all the parents for Meet the Teacher, which just brought all of the energy back to the building. So it was absolutely incredible. And speaking of the building, I want to thank Rudy Angel, our head custodian, and his large amount of custodial workers. We host so many things over the summer at Miller Driscoll. We host PSY. We host lots of Will and Continuing Education courses. We host Sal Jimo's camp, which I think goes for 26 weeks. Every week. So we host a lot, and they clean all around. And then the last 1 week that they have with no camps, they make sure that everything gets done. So that was really amazing, and so huge thanks to them. Also thanks to Pam Carlson, Patty Terranova, and Teus Majeski, who take care of all of those incoming kindergarten families as they're registering. There are a lot of steps. There's that health form, it's very daunting. So there are a lot of things to check off, but they get it all done as well. And then, while we hate to see Janine go, we could talk for a long time about that, Dr. Smith. We have an amazing admin team, so I still have Bernadette Hess by my side. She's been by my side since I got hired. Abby Cass agreed to work full-time this year. And Maureen Steinberg, who is a retired administrator and has done a couple of leaves at Miller Driscoll, is back with us as well. So that's our new, at least 1 year dream team anyway. So there we go, we're doing it. This summer, interestingly, we spent time as a building leadership team, and we decided we needed to reconnect to the why we're doing this in the first place. So why do we go into teaching, and why do we stay in teaching? And so with those stories in mind, we took some inspiration from Simon Sinek, who is like my new favorite person now, a TED Talk from him about the golden circle and why the why should come before the how and the what. And as a leadership team, we created kind of a mantra that we want to use to guide our work this year. Want to hear it? Sure.
Yes,
Why not?
please.
Yeah. See, she still says yes, please. It's not so good.
Maybe we'll borrow it.
With our why at the core, we believe it is our shared responsibility to create a calm, collaborative, and safe environment for our teachers and staff where we can harness and grow our collective talent by valuing all perspectives in service of our youngest lifelong learners. Not bad, right? Okay, that starts good. I'm gonna call Simon myself. The other thing we did this year was we created a joy list for the teachers, and we gave it to them on the first day back. And it has all kinds of things in there about how we think they can make the year better for their students, but also how they can make the year better for themselves and care for themselves. And today was a perfect example, until the fire alarm went off, but the rest of it was a great example of how the district values that very same thing. And then, tit for tat, we told them that they could create a joy list for us. So over the next couple of weeks, they'll be making us, as an admin team, a joy list. I'm a little scared.
Can't wait to see it.
I know, me too. Each IET or department gets to contribute one thing to the list. I should have said then I get to add 5 things to your list, so be careful, but I didn't, so it's all good. Like last year, we are continuing to foster community wellness and belonging. So we'll continue to work on our collaborative commitments where we'll revisit all of the commitments we made last year. And then we're hoping to kind of raise the level of those commitments to again contribute to the positive culture and climate at our school. And then one very different thing that we're doing this year, usually each year we have an area of focus by either grade level or department, and that drives the professional development. And so instead of having different areas, we have decided that everybody in school, in Miller Driscoll, Chuck is gonna say woohoo, is going to contribute to the new ELA program. And that's gonna be I think I made a friend. And so we are really excited about that. So we have readjusted the schedule so that interventionists, special education teachers, other support staff can push in to particular times, especially in the skills block of our ELA program. And then all of our specialists are going to connect to the different subject areas in the knowledge block. And that started last year with art, and it just worked out so well. So everybody is going to contribute to this huge endeavor. And yeah, we believe many hands make light work, so it's gonna be amazing. We love it. Thanks to all of you at the board table. You don't give me everything I want, but you do give me most things that I want, and you give us exactly what we need. So thank you so much, and happy New Year. And then I'm gonna turn it over to Principal Carly.
Well, thank you. First, just thank you for the opportunity to serve as acting principal at Cider Mill this year. I really am truly honored. It's been an absolute pleasure getting to know the staff this week. It was funny when the kids saw me at Meet the Teacher. I think some of them thought they were in the wrong place. I think some parents thought they were in the wrong place. Some kids' eyes got really big. It was very cute. And a big thank you to Jeremy Cross, Dave Dudix, Sharon D'Angelo, Sharon Bisho. They've been a great support to me over these past couple of weeks during my transition, and we are looking forward to an incredible year. So I really appreciate their support. Like Kathy, I want to thank Jose Figueroa and Toll Joseph for the work they did this summer. We had, I think it was 22 classroom moves this summer, along with a couple of painting projects that I think I see in the facility updates. And then you have the regular summer cleaning schedule. So the building's really looking great, and we will continue our work to make it shine even brighter. Last year, you heard about some schedule changes that were made at Cider Mill. You heard about a new partner teaching model. This year, we're really focused on fine-tuning and strengthening this model. Our 4th and 5th grade teams will be fully immersed in the partner teaching model. This means that students go to one teacher for math, science, and social studies, and then the partner teacher for our ELA curriculum knowledge and all blocks. So I mentioned those moves. They were done to really accommodate this in order to decrease transition time and really increase the sense of community between the teachers and the classes that were sharing the same teacher. So it's been a lot with the moves, but the staff is definitely ready and excited for Monday. So related to curriculum, we're in our 2nd year of our full implementation using the illustrative math program. Teachers will be working with our instructional coach to refine their practices, mostly around the text building thinking classrooms that you've heard Trudy and others talk about over the past year or maybe 2. Our 4th and 5th grade teachers will be focusing on implementing the new EL curriculum. 3rd grade implemented last year, 4th and 5th will be studying and implementing that program this year. And additionally, our world language team, you did hear about this year, last year, they're in their 2nd year of implementing curriculum that's connected to the content standards for the grade level. So that's a nice way of making connections for the kids. And then, as Kathy said, we'll continue also to focus on community wellness and belonging. We have social emotional learning lessons. There's dedicated time for community building at the start of the year. The continuation of our science classes that include health and wellness lessons, and then we'll have activities that celebrate the diversity of our community. And Miller Driscoll's been working over the past few years implementing the Everyday Speech program. They started in kindergarten 3 years ago, then 1st and 2nd, so it's been smooth for the students. Now our 3rd grade team will be implementing Everyday Speech lessons as part of their morning meeting program. So that's our Cider Mill updates. We're really looking forward to the energy of the kids on Monday, and I really am grateful for this opportunity, so thank you.
Nice job.
Thanks, Joy.
Hey, first time, right?
Thank you,
So
I
that's good.
appreciate it, I appreciate it.
So hi, everybody, and thanks also to give me a chance to brag a little bit about Middlebrook and what's happening at Middlebrook. First, I just want to publicly extend my thanks to my dean team. As you may or may not have heard, we had a rather significant shift in our admin team. So that is, you think about that institutional memory that leaves you. That's a big piece. And Catherine and Janet certainly hit the ground running and have done a fantastic job in their new roles. But my thanks go out to Dean Cellini and Dean Nobles and Dean Whalen. Just their outstanding leadership and fellowship with our Middlebrook community. They're really just wonderful at remembering all the details, remembering what we have to remember, remembering the things that we can't always remember, and making sure it's all in place. And then along with it, just a heartfelt thanks to the staff at Middlebrook, whose energy, care, their professionalism just create that warm and welcoming environment for our families that came in this week. That walkthrough happened on Wednesday, and they did this in just about 48 hours after getting back into the building. So can you imagine welcoming guests after 48 hours of planning? I mean, I just think about everything that they had to do to try to make it look like home and make it ready for everybody. And they're just really remarkable, and I really appreciate them. You had a nice update from Maria about our new hires, and we have certainly our cadre of folks that are new to us, but we're really happy about this wonderful team of professionals that we're welcoming to Middlebrook. Their arrivals brought a really fresh energy and enthusiasm to our community, and we're certainly looking forward to the great things we're going to accomplish together. But I just want to take a moment to take a special and certainly well-deserved thank you to our incredible custodial and maintenance teams. They worked day and night in this blistering summer heat. For those of you that heard Kevin this morning, it was like, yeah, let's turn off all of the air conditioning. Let's put you in all these extremely hot places and go ahead, go, get at it. So, and never once were they complaining at all. They just, as some of you know, we had a rather extensive remodel this summer at Meadowbrook. And that entire Sherilyn Peterson wing has been remodeled. And I just want to point out a couple of folks, under the expert leadership of our supervisor for building and grounds, Jose Figueroa, not a detail was overlooked. And he was there every day, every night, working weekends, working alongside a team of custodians that did whatever was needed to make sure the work get done. And I don't know how they were in your buildings, because your teams were at Middlebrook as well, because every time I was there, I would see folks from all the other buildings that were there working as teams, whether it was moving furniture in and out, or ripping carpet out, or cleaning spaces, et cetera, just all along. But just, we are just very much indebted to, certainly to Jose and his leadership throughout this. I also want to thank our head custodian, Perrin Marquet, who I don't know if all of you have got a chance to meet him, but he's brand new to us, very late last year. But he coordinated efforts with the other buildings and other head custodians to make sure that this transformation was really carefully planned. And I got to tell you a quick story about him. It tells you a little bit of a window into who he is. But Tuesday evening, late evening, I was there's this long punch list of things that I knew that had to be completed. So, you know, I think about the 8 red hallway. The whole pod was just filled with furniture and boxes and trash. And the top of the staircase was just, the entire island of refuge was just loaded up with all kinds, because we had an elevator that wasn't working. It needed a service, so it needed to be redone. So that it became this place that was just kind of a, well, let's wait till the elevator's fixed. So anyway, there was all kinds of debris and everything that needed to be cleaned, and this is late Tuesday evening. And so the next morning, when I came in and all of it was gone, I asked Perrin, you know, so how late did you stay and how early did you come in? And he told me, well, actually, I didn't leave. And he goes, well, that's not entirely true. I left to go out and get a toothbrush, because I can't be all gross, you know. That was how he reacted. And again, with a smile. It wasn't a, oh yeah, I was there all night, and I was, not even. He was just, with a smile, just talking about, hey, I need to get done. And then here I am thanking him, and all he could say was, hey, the smile makes it worth it. And that just gives you a little window into who Perrin is. He's just a fabulous human being. I just think it captures his dedication and his leadership. And I think it's a perfect example of how he earned that 212 degree award today. So thank you for that, for noticing him. But his commitment, the tireless coordinated effort that he put together this summer with the team, just makes it possible for us to open our doors and do it smoothly. Their extensive work is really something that I certainly appreciate. And as I say, we're ready for company. I also want to recognize some of our students. We have our web leaders, and as you know, that's where everybody belongs. They really put that saying on display this past couple of weeks, because they generously gave up some of their summer to be trained over the summer, then to come in and be ready for really tomorrow, because tomorrow is when they're really going to greet the sixth graders when they join us. But their enthusiasm, it's really inspiring to see these kids that are willing to just come in over the summer and not begrudgingly at all, but just really excited to do it. And tomorrow's going to be fun. If any of you are around between 8 and 1 o'clock and you want to just be out front in Middlebrook, you just check it out. It's going to be pretty exciting. You think these kids are coming back from a big parade or something, the way they're welcomed at Middlebrook. And it's all kid-led, all kid-created. The signs, the yelling, the cheering, all the rest of it is just really wonderful. But in addition, the web leaders, they also came in early to the walkthrough, proudly wearing their web t-shirts, but it's really to greet students who were new to Wilton. And really what they were there to do was helping them with tech setup, helping them navigate the building, giving them a quick tour before the walkthrough, but just most importantly, offering a warm and friendly welcome. They just really did a wonderful job of just kind of, if you will, proverbially opening up their arms and hugging these kids. As I've shared in the past, we're excited to have our students back. It is a privilege to work with these remarkable young men and women, and we never, ever take that for granted. A quick success story to share is that our cell phones away for the day is going to continue into this year. It's in place once again, and I expect that our students are going to rise to the occasion again to show that great maturity that they did last year. It's just another reminder of how fortunate we are to work in this community with such thoughtful and respectful students. And finally, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge our staff and our students for their incredible work last year. I know you've seen the results from the recent round of standardized assessments from the spring, and I'm proud to say that our students' growth and achievement is truly outstanding. That kind of success doesn't happen by accident. It reflects the committed dedication of the talented educators that I have the privilege of working with every day, and that commitment of our students and our families. That's what you as a board can expect moving forward, and I'm very proud to sit here as principal to represent, if you will, these talented professionals at Meadowbrook. So thank you for your time, thank you for your continued dedication to the district, and we're looking forward to a wonderful year at the Brook.
Excellent. Your Wilton High School Warriors. So firstly, thank you to the Board of Education for your outstanding support. We appreciate you. We know how much you care about our students and our schools, and we feel that every single day. We are very eager to start the school year. We've been preparing concertedly, and we are so excited to see all of our students on Monday. We'll see a lot of them tomorrow. That's going to be exciting. We'll begin with some student news. I want to commend the student link leaders and also the faculty that guide them, some of whom are working right now to get ready for tomorrow. There's been very positive energy with the link crew training last week. Dr. Smith and I had the opportunity to go and welcome them and cheer them on a little bit, but I think they cheer us on more. They're amazing kids. So we anticipate an outstanding freshman orientation tomorrow. We're set, and we're going to set these students up for success. It's going to be wonderful. We're also going to orient the students to the Yonder pouches for the first time, so that's what they're actually working on over there, getting them ready. And we're really excited about tomorrow. We'll have all the freshmen in, and Brian and I and the other admins have the opportunity to welcome all the freshman parents, which is outstanding. And then later on in the day, all of the students who are new to Wilton High School. And that's always exciting because they come from, you know, different places in the world and obviously different states, so we're looking forward to that. We recently hosted a very successful band camp. You've probably heard it if you've been around here at all. And we've had students playing really beautiful music throughout the building. In fact, some of them set up right above on the third floor, right where the elevator is. So I was looking at Kathleen one day, I was like, you hear that? And then they played every single day. So we've been serenading, right, Brian? It sounded wonderful. So we could go on and on about the students, but we'll have more stories to tell in the near future. Can't wait to see them on Monday. Staff news, a lot of great, our educators are fantastic in the high school, so I want to commend them for their preparedness. You know, the high school teachers don't have that long to get up and running. They have one day fewer than the other teachers, so they've been planning concertedly. They're excited to get back. It's nice to hear about their tales of the summer, and I know that they'll tell a lot of those tales to the students just to build relationships and SEL and have a wonderful experience, but they're such talented, caring educators. It is noteworthy that we have so many new teachers this year, new staff in general, actually. You heard Maria's report, but the other day when we had our convocation, it was actually yesterday, we had 17 new educators, and that's everybody. That's secretaries, that's paraprofessionals, psychologists, certified teachers, and they were all lined up, and the instructional leaders introduced them, and you know, Maria alluded to it a little bit, but the talent and the experience, and you know, first and foremost, their caring nature. You know, we look through this lens of, are they going to be good role models? Are they going to behave themselves extremely well and make the students want to emulate them? Are they content area specialists? Are they on the cutting edge of their craft? And they really are. So we're excited about the new teachers, and we welcome this, as you know, I like to say, the Wilton High School faculty recruiting class of 25-26. And we will orient them in the Wilton High School way. I too have to commend Mike Criscuelo and our custodial staff. If you looked at this place 2 weeks ago, you would never believe that the high school will be ready to open. It really did not look good. But the work that they've done, Mike is still over there right now. I mean, I wanted new clocks for all the students, particularly the freshmen, because if you're taking their cell phones away, they should at least know what time it is, right? So we got 10 beautiful new clocks.
It's one of the insights from the Yonder
Yes, we
patches.
learned.
Smart.
Sorry, Bob.
That's okay. I emailed Mike and Jose. I said, I am committed to, this is about 3 weeks, I am committed to having clocks for these kids. I'm going to go get them myself, which we procured them. But anyways, Mike is over there right now, and the work has been truly remarkable. The team pulls together. You know, as Jory alluded to, they have a smile on their face. They get the work done. You saw a little bit of that today when we were dealing with a little bit of the, the fire drill over there. But they're remarkable. And then a couple of highlights, of course, and if you haven't seen it yet, Board of Ed members, anybody else, I really want you to come over and visit the high school. Look at the new iSTEM room, which is the old, kind of in the loading dock area down there, an old custodian's office down there. And then the new business / stock market room is remarkable. So please stop by, we'll give you a tour. I could go on and commend many people for that, but really our custodial staff have made it happen. Again, a couple short weeks ago, I was like, now when are we, that iSTEM room, is that gonna happen? Yeah, it's gonna happen. We're starting tomorrow, and next thing you know, they're spraying, they're sheetrocking, and it really does look great. Most importantly, these are gonna be wonderful learning environments for our students. It's gonna be fantastic for them. So we're excited about that as well. In the realm of athletics, I heard Kathy talk about all the programs that are going on at Miller Driscoll. I always say Wilton High School never sleeps, and it doesn't. It doesn't really sleep much in the summer with all the programs, but one of the things that gets going pretty quickly, of course, is the athletics program. And so our programs are in full swing right now, practicing for the seasons. Blue and white Warrior spirit abounds. I mean, the kids are just so excited already, and the fields, they're busy, the kids are smiling, they're checking out new equipment and new aspects of the facility, so that's going really well. One particular highlight, the football team went away for basically a 2-day boot camp, which they wanted to do it for team building, camaraderie, get ready for the rigors of the season. And they've come back. I've spoken to many of the players already, and EJ D'Annunzio, and they just talked about pulling together and the experience. It was not easy. It was difficult, but I think they're a better team for it. So that was certainly a highlight. So we want to thank the coaches, the AD, and the Gridiron Club for supporting that, because that doesn't happen in every single community. So that was wonderful. And then before I turn it over to Brian, we're very excited, because if you haven't seen the new turf field, get out there. It's completed. We had a big walk through, Bobby and I and Steve Pierce and the representative, the reps from the companies that did it all and put it all together. We had a small punch list of a few things to be corrected, but it really looks good. It's going to drain well. It's going to drain well, and it's going to be a great venue for our student athletes. So, Brian, let's talk about our seniors.
Yeah, thanks, Bob.
Our seniors, class of 2026.
Yeah, so obviously we've seen some of the seniors who have been back for athletics or for band, but the majority haven't yet come back, but we'll see them next week. Some tomorrow too for orientation, but we're really excited to welcome the class of 2026, right? Every year when you say the new number at the end of it, it's just a little bit scary for me, a rapid change, but yeah, we're really excited to have them back. We've had some communication with them. They've gotten their mailings about the parking lottery and their lockers and all the other things that they need to look forward to with senior year. But we're excited, and I really think that this is going to be a good senior class for leadership of the younger grades. They've really come a long way. Last year we gave them some junior privilege because as a class they were just mature and earned it, and so I'm hoping that that trust that we sense just continues and rolls through this year until they graduate and then thereafter. Some other things to add on to Bob's introduction. We had our Leadership Institute this week, so our instructional leaders were in with us, and we had a great day of collaboration. We spent time on things that are district priorities. So, just to name a few, we're going back into task design. We're incorporating, cognitive demand on students and the learning that ensues because of that. All things visible with thinking, right? Making thinking visible so that students can see it, teachers can see it, anyone who's in the room can see it. And we're organized again. Last year we really appreciated getting our calendars together for our instructional effectiveness teams or our IETs, along with our professional development calendar. So a lot of excellent collaboration among the instructional leaders earlier this week. Bob just mentioned also that we had our convocation. I'd like to highlight that Grant Stein, our student body president, gave such a wonderful welcome to our staff. And, What a smart young man to get up there, be so eloquent. I think he interrupted his football practice to come out and speak and then had to go right back to football practice. But to do that and do it with a stately, eloquent manner was just impressive. So looking for great leadership from our executive board too. We have a chance to celebrate the personal milestones that the staff experienced either late in the year last year or over the summer, and there were a lot of them, so that was nice to see people's personal enjoyment and milestones that they celebrated this summer. Bob also had a chance to celebrate the students and staff for some of the great results last year on some of our testing, so okay to give some numbers away. Our EBRW, #1 in the state, again. Our NGSS, our science scores, #1 in the state. Math, #3 in the state. So I just can't give enough praise to the students, to the families that support the students, and especially our staff that has really dialed in, become very, very nimble and astute with data and just responsive to the needs of students. It's a great testament to the work and, same sentiments that you were saying about the Middlebrook staff. So we've got some good consistency going here, and we expect another year of excellent consistency with achievement. We've got our year 2 of our cell phone free campus. So yep, all things yonder once again to kick off the year. You'll see us out tomorrow out in the foyer, and then next week out, greeting students as they come off the buses and making sure that we've got that culture of healthy living, balanced lifestyle, right? And as we learned last year, I think the students really appreciated realizing that they achieved their thought back, right? By getting rid of the phones all the time, they were able to control their minds and their emotions a bit better. Out of their mouths, right? That's what they said to us. So we're excited about doubling down on our efforts with that and encouraging that positive social interaction that came from the cell phone free campus. Other than that, we had the house band start our convocation and end it, and they were joined by one of our student drummers, Will DeBernardis. So, talk about community effort, right? We had all kinds of disciplines and a student rocking it out there to send us off to some good meetings. And lastly, we enjoyed a wonderful PTSA breakfast for our staff when they came back. So big thanks to Kim Biltoft and the entire hospitality committee, PTSA hospitality committee. Just to see the smiles on the teachers' faces as they were greeted with a nice warm and tasty breakfast. They've done it for years, and it always just winds up warming people's hearts. So that was great, and we're going to see that hospitality committee and another panel of PTSA volunteers tomorrow, because there's going to be a parent panel as part of the 9th grade orientation and the parent meeting. So we're off and running, doing our thing for the beginning of the year.
Fantastic.
Great. Thank you. So we have a brief facilities update. Do you want to throw the slides up?
Bill has them, right?
Yeah, I got it. Oh, great. So you can go ahead and advance the first one.
Let's see where it says slideshow. Does it glare on the TV?
Oh, Bill, yeah.
There we go, thank you. F5 didn't work on me, so there we go. All set. Next one.
Keep going. Yep. Great. So Cider Mill. This is the picture. We'll do just a little quick show and tell. That corridor that goes to the old gym, which is now like the new gym. You've been down that. That place was long in need of a refresh. It got one this summer. And so, at some point we're going to have to do more substantial exterior work with the windows, but at least, for the time being, floor's fresh, it's repainted, it's much cleaner. So that's great. The lower section, Cannondale, those classrooms were repainted, and so we're just embarking again on a multi-year maintenance effort where we'll continue to refresh painting in classrooms and corridors over a multi-year period so that buildings all stay in good shape. Beyond that, the butterfly garden in the front was redone. If you've been to any of the schools, all of the exterior cleanup has taken place in the last week. And then the last piece that was on the list over Cider Mill in that old new gym. When we had the flood, all the sound baffles had to come out. So it's taken a while to get the new ones. So those are on order and should be here next week. And then they should be complete. You've heard a lot about Middlebrook, and again, just kind of bask in the glory of clean floors and no carpeting. These pictures don't do it justice, but adding the new LED lights also just completely changes the environment. So I really encourage all of you to get in there and take a walk around. The construction work's like 99.9% complete. Our guys are just working through kind of the last set of punch list kinds of items. The giant HVAC unit will be delivered sometime later in the fall. We have the temporary air conditioners in place, and if things stay as they are tonight, we may not need them. But I could not fathom having kids come into the building and not having, in t-shirts, not having the building. So those are there. We replaced the gym partition, so that's all set and ready to go. Next summer, you'll see in the budgets that come forward, we'll have the partition at Cider Mill, and then 2 years out, Miller Driscoll. There's all kinds of new signage. If you've been by Middlebrook, we took the opportunity to replace the old brown sign with a fresh new blue and white one, so that was one of the last pieces outside as well. And that's good to go. Thank you. The high school, again, you get a bit of a look. I'm not sure which stocks are available on the ticker in that picture, but that space is fantastic.
It's a very cool room.
Yeah, so you can see the seating's flexible. There are workstations around the room, the teacher station's in place. The kids all have access to the Hammerstone software and be able to work in small groups. So we're really excited about putting kids back in that space and then continuing to grow the program. So you'll hear a lot more about that as we get into the year. And Bob mentioned the iSTEM robotics classroom. So there's a glimpse of that space. And what I love about the story here is that was the automotive classroom, from so many years ago. And as shop went away and we moved away from some of those really meaningful kind of skill-based hands-on types of things, curricula that kids would engage in. This is not auto shop by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a lot of hands-on, minds-on, construction, building, thinking that kids will get to do in this space. And so I love that we've been able to refresh it and reinvent it for the 21st century. So one other, I forgot to mention, it's on the slide. Downstairs, for years, we have been talking about taking out, we have lights, studio lights that were installed probably at the time the building was built, and they were inoperable. And so over a few phases, we took out the lights, we took out the electricity, we put electricity back, and we procured a donation from NBC Studios of all these studio lights. So those are all in, they went in last week. And so that place too, you heard, I think Maria Brees, right at the end of last year, come here. PTA replaced the stage down there, so that place is as vibrant as ever, and now they'll have a truly fully functioning studio. I got to, drive is not the right word. I got to sit behind the wheel today of our new, one of our new buses, and it's a school bus. They haven't changed a whole lot in 100 years, but in terms of having shiny new buses, I can tell you, Dan Pacino, our manager, was very excited to show Marie and me the controls, and so it is modern in that regard. There's a lot of bells and whistles for the drivers. I think the big selling feature was the air conditioning. So tell your kids now, if you're listening at home, you want to sit closer to the front on hotter days.
Got it.
So
Totally noted.
you'll see those guys rolling through town, this week. The drivers will
Are those the same buses they use for the sports?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we use the same fleet, so, yeah. Yeah, so this
I've
is.
gotten a few kids home a little at the end of an athletic trip, right? Like sitting on the hot bus,
Uh-huh.
so.
I'll be sure to let her know.
Yeah, please, and you can do a little pre and post.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dan did say, I asked him, I said, how's the ride compared to, the buses you've been driving? And he said, smoother. So, we'll see. Yeah,
Nice.
But that's exciting. So
They let you beep the horn or?
I tried, but the thing was off, so I couldn't, I wanted to. In fact, Sawyer, my son, was walking up to football practice, and I was like, do you like our new car? So we're, you've heard it a lot tonight in the conversation, and I don't think it can be overstated. Our maintenance crew, our custodial staff, I want to also just shout out our town folks, Frank Smeriglio, Jeff Pardo. Those guys put in a lot of time and effort, and people were nervous that this project wasn't going to get done. I was nervous, honestly, and Jory mentioned it. Jose is an expert, and he is also confident, and there were plenty of times this summer I was like, we're gonna make it, and he's like, we got it. And they do. He's got a team around him that are exceptional, and I didn't recognize him all summer because he was also up in the rafters doing stuff. So all you saw was his shoes because he was on a ladder everywhere, and they all were. So it's a testament to having a clear vision and a really good plan. They got the job done, and I was glad Jory mentioned Aaron Mark. He has been nothing short of remarkable, and the story that Jory just told you is true. There are at least 2 nights where he didn't go home because he is that invested. He wants it to go well on day one. And while I'd love to have that every night, we can't because he needs to have a life. But, coming out of the gate and setting a tone for the rest of the people that watch him and work with him, I've never seen anything like it. So we're fortunate. And I'm excited for all of you to get into these spaces. You'll have the opportunity, if you like, to ride some new buses when we welcome the kindergartners on Monday, so feel free. Great, we're good. So questions or comments about facilities?
No, I just think it's really remarkable the amount of work that got accomplished this summer, and just I was in Middlebrook the other day, and it just feels amazing, and I know that the kids felt it too. So it's great, really to have spaces that are worthy of the people and the work that goes on in the building. So I'm looking forward to, the Green Wing getting their treatment.
Yeah, so let me talk about that for a second,
sure.
if you don't mind, because that was something that Jose flagged for me just 2 weeks ago. The flooring company was lights out, and they worked really quickly. And so that experience put on the table an option to try to get some of the work done as we are going through the school year and not waiting till next summer. The bond funds are already there. So Jose and I will be working with Frank and Jeff to put a plan together, and we'll come back to you and we'll be targeting some of those long weekends and the week stretches where we're closed to see how much we can actually do. And so what we're thinking is we can get the flooring done and the painting done through the kind of outside the main office, and then we thought we'd target the 8 green into 7 green into 6 green. So we'll come back to you with a full timeline that we can discuss. I'm so sorry to interrupt.
No, I just think it's so great that now we've had this experience, we kind of have these plug and play models, and we've worked out some of the kinks, I guess, behind it, so that we can really effectively and efficiently move the projects forward to really give that building and those kids the complete experience.
And then we can turn our attention to the high school.
Most definitely.
Lots more to talk about.
Yeah, no, that kind of, doesn't go into the next thing, but we'll get there. Bill, thank you.
Sure, thanks everyone. Good to see everyone, welcome back to all. I just wanted to kind of give a brief history of some of the thinking we had about the website and then get into the actual work. When I was in the hiring process, some of you were part of that process, and we talked about how the website was something that we would like to work on someday, And then as I got hired and I started talking to the webmaster team, we were like, yeah, let's spend this year maybe planning out some of ideas and going from there. And then in the fall, like early fall, late fall, we found out that the hosting site Gabbard that we used was being sunsetted, and all of a sudden Sunday became yesterday. And we really had to speed things up and actually make a whole migration happen, between, the middle of last year up to, this week. So we worked really hard this summer to get it going, and some of that process was working with, some of you were on the communications committee, and we gathered feedback and about the current site and kind of had some vision discussion about what we wanted the new site to look like. And we took all that and really toward the tail end of last year, definitely all the hard work happened this summer. I was working with the webmasters to make the new website, number one, migrated, and Eric helped us with that too. And number two, to put into effect some of the things that we discussed with the communications committee to make the site not just, a carbon copy of the old one, but under a different banner. But we really started it from the ground up, completely scratch. We imported nothing from the old site. We remade the entire thing. Soup to nuts. So I was fortunate enough to work with another team of all-stars. You keep hearing about all these great folks that put in all this great work this summer. But Skip Ploss and JC Greasley, Tom Koch, Kathleen Kessler at the high school, and Tara Peterson too. They put in so much effort this summer to rebuild the site. And I'd say it's probably 95% of the way there. If you go through it, and especially if you made it, you'd find some things that that we need to keep working on to refine. There's a couple of technical glitches we still need to work out. But I'm actually really excited to give you a brief tour. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. So when you go on the site, well, that was a good, that's a rotating carousel banner, and that was a nice one to start with, all of our accolades that the principals were talking about. But what we really were shooting for, based on the discussions earlier this year, was to come up with a clean aesthetic, to make things more standardized, and to make the whole site more navigable. So we hope that as you kind of go through the district site and from the school sites, you'll see that we were really thoughtful about that. We spent like a good 2 weeks before we even touched the software to design it, to plot it out, draw maps, and really figure out what we wanted to look like and how we wanted things to be organized. So when you get to the site, this will usually be the first graphic that pops up. And we went around and took all new pictures this summer. So most of the photography here is all brand new. And we had to dodge a lot of construction projects, especially at Middlebrook, but we kind of made it work. So this typically auto scrolls, and you'll get a few images, and you'll see that this is the same at each school. And these are some of the things we'll want to update as the year progresses. Then you scroll down on each district page and school page, and there'll be some of the most important links right here. So for example, we saw during the communications committees that menus is the thing that's most checked by most families, and you can get on here, see the menus, etc. And we rebuilt these pages again from the ground up. And then on each district and school homepage, you'll see latest news, which is pulled from Parent Square, upcoming events, which is tied into all the Google calendars, and that will look different for each school depending on which calendar we're pulling from. This just has a little marquee graphic from graduation because it's the district page. And then each school will have an about section on the lower left that just has a mission statement and some information about the school. And on the right, it'll have contact information for admin, but here we just wanted to, showcase some of all the great stuff from the 2024-2025 school year, including how Wilton High School was number 5 on US News and World Report, and some of the other great things that happened recently too. So that stuff's there, and you can certainly take a look at that. And then users will be able to go through some of the familiar things like district information, check the different departments, look at all the curriculum, access to Board of Education information. And then a lot of things were kind of hidden under I Want To. That was the name of the section, and you found that in varying places to varying degrees across the site. We were careful to try to reorganize that under families and under students. You don't see that on the district because it's for staff there. But that's where families will be able to find information about Power School, Parent Square, My School Bucks, things like that. So all of that's really more thoughtfully organized. So if you were to go over here and go to schools, you can see all the different places that your the students will be. If we go to the high school, for example, again, that design aesthetic you should see is pretty similar to the district site. And your links are there, latest news, upcoming events, etc. About the school, contact information for admin, things like that. And each school has pretty much the same stuff up top, with the high school having more to do with athletics because, that's such a big part of the community here. But again, families and students is where most of the information people will need to get regularly will be there. There's kind of competing needs and visions for a school website. On one hand, it needs to be a repository of information for the community. On the other hand, we want it to be a showcase of all the great things going on in the district. That makes it a challenge to try to organize and make look good because on one hand, if you were on a product webpage, if you go to like an Apple website, for example, it looks great, gives you some information, but most of it's like flashy graphics and, by now, all this stuff, you guys have seen those commercial websites, and we could do that and talk all about our school, but then like leave the information behind, or vice versa. We have tons of information, but it looks like, a library website from the 1990s, or like, what was it really tricky, like Alta Vista, everyone remember that? Yeah, so, you'd have the information, but there's no aesthetic appeal and doesn't get anyone excited. I think it looks a lot more exciting now. So again, I can go school to school, I won't do that right now, I'll let you go through your leisure. But I just kind of wanted to brag about how we made Littlebrook look really good, even though it was under construction all summer. There's a lot of
Time for a new
photoshopping.
picture.
Yeah, we have a new sign now.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of photoshopping that went into that sign, for example. So, if you're ever buying a house and you need to look at the pictures, the realtors are masters at getting just the right angle. So we were playing with that and trying to make everything look really great. So again, we invite you to check out the site, check out the information, check out the aesthetics. We hope that you will find it, easier to navigate. The information will be more standardized, easier to locate, and the aesthetics should be a lot cleaner and organized too. And throughout the year, we're going to spend more time updating the content and kind of add a little bit more pizzazz where we can. We took some drone footage, for example, but we weren't able to make that quite work just yet. So we'll have some more surprises in store throughout the year.
It looks really great.
Thanks.
Congratulations. I know it was a lot of hard work.
Nice refresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good step forward. So, and again, we're open to feedback throughout the year as you're looking through and checking things out.
It looks really good on mobile too. I was
Yeah.
on it this week, yeah.
Yeah, that was one nice thing about because we can choose templates, and we worked with the team and Kevin put some input into like which template would look good, and we were checking how it looked versus a screen versus an iPad, like a big screen iPad, mobile, and it's pretty consistent. There's definitely some things that might be a little different, but on the whole, I think people make the adjustment pretty well.
Yeah,
So
I had a couple dead pages, but I don't know if that was probably like during the transition.
it's possible.
And I don't know if it was iOS specific, but yeah, I thought it was a really clean aesthetic.
Thanks.
And it's nice when it is consistent with the web experience as well, so you don't feel like you're on
Two different
types of websites.
Yeah, we were really careful about that because I think the old site felt that way. Like different corners of it felt like completely different than other places, and we were trying to eliminate that. So.
Looks great. I love the way because the aspect ratio for photographs on the main banner are always different, and they're always wrong on the other website. So I noticed that and they look great.
That was one of the impetuses for just taking all new photos because we never had photos where some people were I don't have my phone on me, but some people shot like that, some people shot like that. Sometimes it was a DSLR, sometimes it was a screen capture from a video. It was all over the place. So we just were very careful about making sure the photos were. Thanks. Yeah.
So I have noticed a couple of things because I went to the most important page, the menus page.
Oh yeah.
And I noticed there's on the prices, the not on the top down bit, where it says
Pricing.
it's it links to Google pages that you have to be logged in to Wilton PS to see.
Oh, okay.
So is there a way?
Under pricing.
Yeah. It'll work for you, but it didn't work for me when I was.
I'm not logged in, so okay. Well, again, like little things we might have missed. We all stared at this thing till our eyes bled. So.
Is there a way that you can take feedback from people who find things?
Yeah. Well, we do have like a web update form that we're updating and putting on there. But for now, if you just shoot me an email, I'll make sure it gets fixed. But we'll make sure that's up there too. Thank you. Yeah, that takes 2 seconds to fix. You just have to make sure it's shared correctly. So, yeah, appreciate that.
That looks great.
No, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks, appreciate it.
So much better.
And having, being a mom of littles, I know that the menu is really, it doesn't surprise me that that's the thing that's like searched for the most.
You know, you need to know if it's gonna be, I think it was pizza.
Or, but even
pizza
just being able
crackers or,
to
yeah.
find it easily, because in the morning you're like, am I making or are you buying?
Exactly.
It's like, well, what's for lunch?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You
And
can
the
also
search,
download the NutriSlice app. You don't even have to try to
and the
navigate
search
the
feature
website.
works now.
Yes, that's handy, and the directory does too, but there's still a few clunky things we're working out with the Smart Sites folks. It's on their end, so we're getting there with that too. But yeah, it should just run smoother. It's like a you got a new computer and it works great, you know, and it's click, it's all right there. So hopefully we'll keep it that way. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Next up is business office update.
Great, so not news, but I wanted to just kind of put it on the table because we haven't had a chance to discuss it in this forum. But as you know, Dawn Norton resigned suddenly and kind of rather dramatically about a week ago. We had set up a plan back in, late 23, early 24 when we hired Lila to resegregate our respective business offices. And so we weren't anticipating having to do that until later this year. But because of the change at Town Hall and because of just the kind of current operations, it made a lot of sense for us to just kind of bring our people under our shop and have have a clean operation here. That's not to say that we won't continue to collaborate deeply and partner with the town. And there are a lot of areas in which Lila and even Marion behind her are working now where there's tremendous overlap in ensuring that finances are reported. We share the audit. We share the EFS report, and so all of those things will continue as is. But I did want to just make it an agenda item, put it on the table for you if there were any questions or concerns. I have complete confidence that we have been, as you know, in very good shape for a long time, and will continue to be. One of the worries that I'd heard from a Board of Finance member in a conversation earlier this week was. Just kind of a recollection of years ago when there seemed to be a lot of tension between the finance office here on the board side and in the town, and things are night and day different. It's relationships, it's personalities, it's kind of shared systems, and so I am not anticipating that we're going to wind back the clock and be in a place that people might have felt a number of years ago where there was animosity, hard feelings, or a difficult working relationship. I think we're still pretty connected in that we share an EIN number and systems. We're sharing a financial operating system, and we'll continue to do that. And so there'll be plenty of opportunities to continue to partner well and to communicate well. But I think thinking about what we need to do at the Board of Education, we're the largest tax dollar consumer in the town. We have to make sure that our systems have a lot of integrity and that the people are focused on our systems and ensuring dollars well spent. So that's why we are where we are.
And I could say, I've been on the board for a while now, having the combination of Lila and Marianne at the table with us over the last 2 budget cycles has been a tremendous support and advantage to us as we budget and plan and forecast and look forward. And I do think that our working relationship with town and the Board of Finance is something that we've worked hard at and built at over time, and is a priority for us. So I appreciate a concern of looking back about how things were in the past, but I too think that there's a shared commitment between all the boards to continue with how well we've been moving and working forward. And when we have when we each have dedicated staff and understand roles and responsibilities and are able to get our individual houses together and then talk across the table, it will be a great advantage for us. So I think I'd like to welcome Lila to her new role, and we've been at the table, but to the table in your new role, and know that your work is really valued, and we're really excited to have you continue with us.
Well, I'm very excited for the opportunity. And to Kevin's point,
at the end of the day, the Board of Ed is a department of the town of Wilton. We're the largest department, but we are still part of it. So no matter who works in the finance office on the town side, our two departments have to work together in order for things to be run efficiently. And that would always be my goal, my job is to protect the board and to make sure that all of the money that we've been entrusted with is used properly and efficiently and effectively. And in order to do that, we have to be able to work with the town. So even if they're separating the position out, there's still not a huge separation. We're still working together.
Is the budget for this year going to be built in there's a new software package that didn't get used last year?
Great question. So we don't know the answer to that yet.
Okay.
So we have the system that we've been using for years. The town, we're in this protracted transition to Munis.
Okay.
And so Munis for the budget development's ready to go, correct? It's the payroll and HR that needs to still come online, and we're a year and a half out, I understand, from having that. 2 years ago, Matt Niedermacher approached us and was really interested in using this tool called ClearGov, and so we piloted it, looked at it. It's a really powerful tool. The town picked up the license 2 years ago. We built funds into this budget for the license for this year, and because of everything you've been reading about and all kinds of other things, it just hasn't gotten off the ground yet. And so
We're very, very close though.
Yeah.
We've been working on the Board of Ed side to be able to play with it a little bit. We've done all the back end work to get the system set up so that we can start running some reports and seeing what ClearGov can do. With everything that has happened, it's kind of slowed us down a little bit, but our plan is to really, over the next month or so, look at both systems and then make a determination of which way it's better to go, if we're going to build it in Munis or if we're going to build it through ClearGov.
Yeah, so as they get closer to a recommendation, we can bring it to the table. If it makes sense to, kind of roadshow it here, we can do that too. Because there are some really attractive features, and from an end user perspective, that might make the budget interpretation a little more user friendly than what you're seeing.
Change the whole layout of that budget book.
Yeah, the wording is different. There's a lot. It lays over the kind of the back end software and just provides some functionality, but we're not there yet for a decision.
What's the name of the system that the budget's built in currently?
We're using, this past year we continued to use New World. Because that is the program that we had been using for everything initially. Right now, only the accounting end has moved over to Munis. The biggest part of our budget, as we all know, is the people. All the people are still in New World. And so that's why we made the decision last year to build the budget out of New World. It just made more sense.
Mm-hmm. And we're thinking this year the budget will be built out of something different, or we're not quite, we don't know yet.
We're not 100% sure yet. We can always fall back on using New World again, but we would like to either use Munis or ClearGov. My gut feeling right now is leaning more towards using ClearGov and then uploading the information into Munis, because I think there's more opportunity for us to present things in different ways in ClearGov, but we have to test it a little bit more. It's been a lot implementing Munis this year and also setting up ClearGov at the same time. So it's just a matter of having enough hours in the day to really, but we want to give it a fair shot.
No, I know it's been a lot of heavy lifting and a lot of work.
And it's very, ClearGov is very robust with a lot of the things that it can do. And I think as far as forecasting tools and being able to look at different scenarios, it's a lot easier in that system, but it's a matter of if that's going to do what we really need it to do or not.
questions.
Any other questions? Thank you. Now, long-range planning and facilities.
Yeah, so just a very brief update here. Save the date for Tuesday, September 9th from 6:30 to 8:30. We're going to hold another long-range planning session focused specifically on facilities, visioning, and planning. I have Jonathan Costa, who's the executive director from EdAdvance, coming down. He's going to open up the evening, and what I asked him to do was paint us a picture of education in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and then connect that specifically to the kinds of facilities that would support what's going to change. We'll transition to table conversation groups. Will be organized by schools as we have been. I'll have the administrators present facilitating and note-taking, and we're going to lead the assembled through a conversation to really think about, all right, so, thinking about what the future's going to hold, do our spaces currently match what we think is coming down the pipe, and if not, what needs to be different. And so we'll gather all that information. We'll feed that to Eric Kyer and KG&D as he is working with us to develop the educational specifications for here, for Cider Mill. And then we'll deliver that to the Town Field Facilities Committee. And having a clear vision will help kind of, move all of us in a direction so we can make better decisions and more comprehensive decisions around some of the more immediate facilities planning that we're doing here.
Yeah, that's great. And
That'll be very interesting.
yeah, so I think we can send out a parent square in the coming, weeks, maybe, not next week when everything is buses and back to school, but yes, just get it on everybody's radar and maybe put something out maybe through the town notice system.
Yeah,
So great community conversation as well.
I shoehorned it in between the back to school nights intentionally. People are reading, people are out, but we also are on a time schedule with facilities planning, and so I wanted to make sure we had this before we get too far down the road with the ed spec development, and certainly before we're doing concrete budget planning for facilities. But we'll make sure that people get the invitation.
Possible action items.
I'm
sorry.
No, it's all good. I realized I had a question from something earlier in the agenda.
No, go ahead.
Ask, for existing staff and new staff, do we do any surveying throughout the year to just track for new hires how their experience is, and then do we do anything kind of beginning, middle, and end for just existing staff?
So I'm so glad you asked that, because we have done exit interviews since I started here. We've done exit interviews and exit surveys. The surveys are anonymous, the interviews are in person. We offer those to all staff that are leaving the district. And I shared with Kevin at the end of last year that it was my intention to actually start conducting stay interviews with existing staff. I did this a little more informally last year because I started hosting office hours in the buildings every month. And so I would go to the buildings and let people know that I'd be there for a certain period of time, and they could either schedule meetings with me or drop in. And, sometimes it was an HR question, and sometimes it was just to have a conversation. And I would take those opportunities just to check in and see how people are doing and what their experience was. We've started asking in the interviews what people need to feel supported and to be successful here and to stay here. And so I'm going to be more formal this year with the new staff. This is exactly what we talked about at the end of last year, with the new staff and the existing staff, just in checking in and capturing that data in a more formal way.
That'd be great. And then do new hires get any type of, do they get like an assigned up buddy?
Yes.
They do?
They do in their building. So they're in two ways. One is through the team program. Those are staff that are not, that are within their first 2 years of teaching. And so they get a formal mentor that has gone through extensive training with the state of Connecticut, and they complete different modules, 5 different modules over the course of that period of time. They meet regularly with their mentor on the different topics in the modules and to support them in completing them. And then our staff who are new to us, but not new to teaching, so would otherwise not be assigned a formal team mentor are assigned, an informal mentor in the building just to help show them around, have questions that, they know they can go to this person to ask, those kinds of things. And then in addition to that, another layer of support that we provide to new staff is that they meet monthly with the principals and the assistant principals in the buildings. And there are monthly topics that are timely. So, the first month's topics may be related to parent open house nights and things like that. When it's parent-teacher conference time, they're covering topics like that. So those are built into the year regularly, and they get together as a group. So, if there are 4 or 5, 6 new staff members in a building, they're all meeting collectively with the administrative team in those monthly meetings.
That's great. That's great.
Any other questions? Okay. So then we'll move on to the Wilton Public Schools 26-27 calendar version B.
This is version B. So you may recall,
I've lost track of this.
yes,
Well, it's only A and B.
Yeah.
right, so when we met last back in June, I presented this version of the calendar to you, and really here's what it came down to. We got some questions and feedback from some folks. And for next year, we're starting, almost a full 2 weeks ahead of Labor Day, and so it feels earlier. And on the flip side, we're also ending, a little bit earlier in June, and so the question was, can we play with that a little bit? Can we shift? And so, looking at all the different pieces, one of the changes we could manage was just to push the start date a day, and so this calendar reflects that. And so instead of starting on Monday the 24th, we'll be starting on Tuesday the 25th. And we're still, we'll see what the weather situation is over the course of that year. But we're out pretty early, so we're gonna be able to have a summer too.
Are there any other questions on this calendar besides that one day over shift?
Yeah, and this is 26-27.
27. So this is
we're
not
talking about
this year. We're talking about
Next year.
next.
This year's
yeah.
baked.
This year's locked and loaded.
We do these, and just for the we try to do these calendars, in advance because people, some people just require a lot of time and whatnot. And so, as a courtesy, we like to have these out a couple of years in advance.
Is there a motion to approve the 26-27 draft calendar, draft B?
Motion.
Thank you, Pat. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, Nicola. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries unanimously. So we now have a 26-27 calendar. No longer in draft A or B. Are there any comments from the public? Not saying any. Seeing none, just future business. We will have another regular board meeting on September 4th at 7 o'clock. Tuesday, September 9th will be that long-range planning meeting on the facilities at 6:30, and that'll be at the Center, correct? In the Clune, in the Zellner. And then we have a regular meeting on Thursday, the 18th of September, and then again on October 9th. It is 8:26, meeting adjourned. Welcome.